told you I just spent this technical oddness we
Figured.
found it.
How did you? What? Tell me what it was.
I was clicking on Jeffrey Mueller on the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, but I had to actually click to your profile. Once
Yeah,
I
you
went
have to
your
like
profile,
go to Jeffrey Mueller. You can't be in Scotchy Bourbon Boys and then click on my
kept clicking
profile.
on Jeffrey Mueller, because it was showing up live on the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. So I clicked on your name.
Yeah, Walker says I can
and it
share.
shows your profile. Then I actually had to click view profile before it popped up to share on me. Anyway, quit messing with me. Let me do this.
I'm going to share. Welcome, everybody. We're doing Heaven's Door, and we're doing Suntory. So it's going to be a special treat tonight. And, I don't know, but this might go off the wall. I mean, we could be like we could be on the air for up to 4 hours. All our microphones will die. I've got lots of information on Heaven's Door, and it's becoming a favorite brand of mine, even though I don't like their rock.
What about Suntory?
Suntory, I've got Hibiki, I've got Suntory Toki, I've got Maker's Mark, I've got the Beam product.
Maker's Mark.
Look at what I got. Okay. I'm gonna suck this baby down.
I was just talking about.
I got Legent.
Some of the information on them.
Do you got some?
I got it bookmarked on their website.
Good.
That was all about it and all that, which I can go right to it and look it up and read it.
Well, I also can. I'm going to be capable of.
I know what you're capable
sharing my screen. I'm going to share it to Messenger.
Oh, sharing some of that whiskey.
Walker doesn't need to be shared to tonight. All right, I'll share it with Ann, Roger.
You share it to Dad's drinking bourbon?
Yes. Christy, Dario, Bashir, James, David, Christy Atkinson.
Did you share it to the Japan Whiskey Group?
The what?
Japan Whiskey Group.
No, I don't belong to the Japan Whiskey Group.
Do?
I'm sure you do. You are better than me in so many different ways. Oh. I broke my wrist, and you haven't even asked me.
This one should go over well on the Japan Whiskey Group.
Yeah, it sure should.
With the Hibiki and all the other stuff that they have over there. And since Suntory is from Japan.
Yeah. Chris Thompson, Bad Night, Andrew, Matt, Randy. Man, we had a good time with Randy. Whew.
Well, I bet you did.
Bishop. And then I need to send this to Greg and Jamie. James Jacobs and Greg Schneider. Come share a pour with us. That's all sent out. All right. We're going to get going real quick, folks. I'm going to monitor YouTube. Nash is going to finish sharing to his groups, and we will get going. I'm going to hit this YouTube for me. We should be live. Okay, here we go. Are we live? Is the question. We are live, and I'm going to monitor it. Here we go. I got to make sure it's working. Yeah. Hit this YouTube for me. We should be live. Yep. There we go. Okay, here we go. Are we live? Is the question. We are live, and I'm going to monitor it. Yep. You could hear me going live right there, so I'll turn that down. I click on that. Oh, I will. We've had one person. Welcome to the chat. Remember. All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
There we go. I started the trap. All right. So I'll monitor the YouTube. Wait a second. I'm not even in it. I have to move over. I gotta figure this one out. I gotta figure this
me.
one out. I gotta figure that out. Here, give me this while I move this and see. I kind of actually have to be in the podcast, don't I? There we go. That might do it. I'll see. All right, there we go. I mean, I don't know how I wasn't in it 2 seconds ago, but I might have to move this back. There we go. I'm sitting back down. I'm right here with you. Oh, there I am. Yeah, all right. There we go. Oh, I got my Heaven's Door hat on. Look at that, Nash.
Like that.
And so there we go. And there is sound. I'll make sure. Oh, there I am. Yep. All right.
Where did you get the Heaven's Door hat at?
I was able to pull that off at the festival last year. The guy I know, the rep.
That's right.
And Tater Dom is watching, like always. Woo, Tater Dom! I'm monitored in the comments tonight on YouTube for you. Nash will be watching. The Eric from Australia is on. Oh God, it's just like let's see if I do this a little bit. I could turn it. Can I turn it? Let's see.
Eric? Cheers,
yeah,
brother.
Yeah. What was that? Did you happen to hear that noise? That was the weirdest.
No,
I have no idea where that noise would have come from. Seriously. It made a noise.
Hear it to the Whiskey Mavens?
Yeah, you could try it. It's okay if you do that. I checked, did a microphone check, exploring Heaven's Door. We're going, we're ready. Let's see. I got to do a quick Scotchy Bourbon Boy. That's working. So that's working to get going. As soon as you're ready, we could start recording. And everybody, thank you for joining us. We're ready to go. 7 minutes into this. I did open this Heaven's Door exploration. Y'all can see it. It's pretty a pretty cool exploration one. I mean, it's straight bourbon whiskey, and then it's first finished. It's Tennessee whiskey finished in. I can get these glasses right here. Right here. It's finished in Calvados casks, and then toasted oak staves are added at the end. So realistically, I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, really, it is. It's kind of cool.
Sounds good.
So
can't wait to hear your opinion on it.
Well, look, you could see this pour. You see the pour, Nash?
Yeah.
That's been poured for about 25 minutes. Just this is not. This will not be a neck pour.
Here you go.
I wonder if it's gonna.
There.
I mean, they
have all the way out to Missouri right now.
Heaven's Door.
I've been around the states, and I've been overseas. Now I'm out to Missouri.
Heaven's Door is, they built a distillery in, I believe it's called Pleasureville, Kentucky. So they are distilling now. So Bob Dylan and his brand, right, is starting to make a splash. I mean, they're distilling. They've got it open. You can go get the tasting and do everything. I mean, they've, Bob Dylan does the artwork. What did you say?
Where are they located?
I just said Pleasureville, Kentucky.
Okay, I thought you were just stuttering after a drink or something.
No, I wasn't. I haven't had anything to drink tonight. No stuttering yet.
Let's change that. Let's get this ball rolling.
Are you ready? You're almost ready? Eric says cheers. Jonathan, Frank, Looked up and found 2 Weller foolproofs. That's awesome, Jonathan. We've been finding, it's funny. I saw a cartoon earlier this morning, and it was a picture of a pipe pouring massive amounts of liquid into a man's mouth, right? And then underneath it was this little rat thing getting the little drips. And someone had put Weller on the pipe, and then the mouth and the man was Texas and Ohio, and then the little rat with getting drips was everybody else. Oh my God. I mean, seriously, I was talking with Whiskey, who's on his way home. He's thinking about opening that bottle. I was saying, I don't think, nice job. I don't think, Dom says to you, Jonathan, he agrees that was good that you got some Weller foolproof. But I don't think that there's any freaking bottle on the planet that if you pay $8,100, you should open. It's not going to be $8,100 good. It can't be. It's because they only made a few, and it's really old. But if you're going to go by drink it, I mean, holy shit. I want to taste it. Don't get me wrong. I would love for him to open it and let us have a taste of it, right? And sample it out or whatever he's going to do. But in my opinion,
if I would have bought it, I'd be opening it.
No, I would smack you. No. There's
yes,
you can buy.
Look, I don't care what you say. Look, Freddie was the one man that says.
Well, then I wouldn't buy it. I straight up wouldn't buy it.
Whiskey's made for drinking. They're gonna make more. They're gonna come out with something.
But whiskey, there's no whiskey on the planet that's actually worth $8,123. It's not.
There's no whiskey worth $500.
Yes, there is. There is. No, I disagree with you. When you gotta no. If you have to have a barrel for 25 years,
what it's worth is worth opening and sharing and tasting with friends and family. That's what it's worth. That's what it's made for. It's made for drinking and enjoying. You know, it wasn't made for sitting on a shelf collecting dust and looking pretty. And oh my gosh, I spent $8,100 on a bottle of whiskey. So fucking what?
So there's a guy on YouTube asking me what I think of blacks, and I will answer that where I think that bourbon cuts across all barriers of color, religion, politics. If you're going to drink bourbon, absolutely. I don't care who, what, where. If you're going to drink bourbon and be friendly, that's what bourbon does. So there's your answer.
I
first,
totally
it never lasts fits. The Weller 12-year black label, first never last fits. I don't think he was asking about that, Tater. I think he was going into race. But if he was asking about Weller Black Label 12-year, everybody loves that. But I don't think that's what he was going for. Let's get you ready to get this started?
Absolutely.
All right. I can hear you, and we will get it started. Just remember, everybody who's listening and watching on YouTube and Facebook, that we're going to have a 30-second delay right here from our sponsors. Our sponsors, the Spirit of French Lick, down there. They're doing a great job. And then also, so you got to check them out. William Dalton is my favorite. And then we've got a Lillian Sinclair coming out soon. So if you want to know about that, just contact me and we can do that. And then also Rosewood Bourbon and Rye. Jason Giles down in Texas is doing a great job reviving that. Andy Dufresne Rosewood Bourbon from the Shawshank Redemption, where we were. I wish we could have brought a bottle and drank it there, but there was no alcohol on the on the presence. And so premises.
I could have told you where to get a bottle, some of that prison whiskey, in cell block number 932.
Yeah.
You could have dug out right behind the wall there.
Yeah. So that, and then also Alan Bishop has, if you have Ghost, you have everything, and then also the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute on YouTube that you need to check out if you
Absolutely.
love distilling. He answers so many questions. It's such a information overload there about distilling. All right, so we're gonna get going, and we'll hit this, we'll start it, and then once you hear the theme song, it's on.
Drinking bourbon, sipping on some scotch. We give it a while, but it's sure fun to watch. We love what we do, we're drinking every brew. Man, it's all sunshine, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, raising to hell, making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, we're here to have fun and we both enjoy. We're here to have fun.
Yeah.
Woo! All right, welcome
Here
back
we are.
to another podcast of the
Scotchy
Scotchy
Bourbon Boys.
Mother effing Bourbon Boys.
That's right.
Tiny
Super Nash here.
Super Nash.
Tiny in the man cave.
Yep, I'm in the Scotchy Bourbon Boys studios. Yeah, we haven't done this for a while. You've been so busy, but I'm looking forward to this podcast tonight. So I'm gonna quick get this promotion out of the way, and then we could get going right into it. We are the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, www.Scotchy Bourbon Boys for all Scotchy Bourbon Boys thing. You could get Glencairn t-shirts and bourbon balls. Check it out. Also find out about our bios. I still need bios from CT and whiskey. If they would someday just help me out with that. And then also remember that we are on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X, along with all the podcast formats, mainly iHeartRadio, Apple, and Spotify. Also, any other one that you listen to, you can find us there. But remember, no matter where you watch, listen to us, listen, subscribe, leave good feedback, and comment. And
absolutely comment.
Those are the things that we need you to do for us to get better promotion. Although lately, between Facebook and YouTube, these lives are really catching on, especially Thursday night lives. Right now, 15 people watching on YouTube. It just keeps getting better and better.
You getting mobile and doing all the hand movements with your brace on. Man, glad to see you're healing up on your wrist there, brother.
Well, when they gave me the brace, it really allowed me to have mobility. I wear it for stability, like when I'm doing the podcast, and then this is heavy, so I can handle that. But what I could do the podcast, I have to pick stuff up and whatever. So I would say the pain, the sprain was the main thing, and it's almost unsprained. I take this off, And when I first got this, which was last Thursday, so I've had this on for a week. The weakness of having that splint on for 10 days and not moving it, but the strength is all coming back. I haven't bumped it. I'm very careful, but it's like driving's a pain. There's so much, or rolling down the window. I mean, my truck, my work truck has manual window rolling, and it's your left hand. It's really fun going to Starbucks in the morning, because now it's like it'll be like 58 degrees out, and I'll roll down the window before I leave with my right hand, close the door, do it. But then I'm driving to work and I'm cold the whole way. So that's been a lot.
I would be broke if I broke a wrist, because everything I do, carrying fire extinguishers, punching tags, reaching up, carrying a ladder, writing invoices. Oh my gosh!
What happens?
Or service reports.
Well, yeah,
I could not survive with a right-handed broken wrist.
Well, put it this:
you're left hand dominant, so
yeah. And put it this way: I've been using my right hand a lot more, especially for picking up. It is the dominant pickup that I have to do, because right now, initially 5 pounds I couldn't even do, and I couldn't open the bottle. Now I can easily do that. I'm not pushing it, but I grabbed my backpack when we were last Saturday when we were doing the ghost hunting, and I was able to hold it stable with the brace. Now, it's not going to be, but I would have to say I'm pretty happy with the healing aspect, and I've almost got the forward motion of the sprain, and there's not a lot of pain. It's not aching. So by using it, I just have to make sure I don't fall again. I don't bump it. Those are all the things that, and we're 1 week into tonight's Thursday. Last Thursday we were with Freddie Johnson, and I got this, and 1 weekend, and I got to get it checked in 3 more weeks, and then hopefully. Now, it's healing way better than I thought it would, but I'm using essential oils, and then I'm also using my whole spiritual healing process, and it seems to be working really well.
How about using a little bit of those spirits that you have in front of us? What are we doing tonight?
Well, tonight we've got 2 parts, okay? The first part is Bob Dylan's Heaven's Door. There's been big things happening. They even have, if you go to their website, okay, and I am going to share it. Let's see, I can share a screen, but I'll also talk about this. But let's see, here we are. Well, let's start our first share screen. This is always fun. And I believe that's
probably... I'm meaning to pick up some Heaven's Door, and especially the 10-year. I've seen it a few times.
Yeah, and so here, Heaven's Door, they have a distillery and brand center in Pleasureville, Kentucky, opening soon. They're thrilled to share the news of their new distillery opening this fall in Pleasureville, Kentucky.
Go to Pleasureville.
Yep. Located on over 160 acres of rolling hills, astride 6 Mile Creek, the picturesque property was once owned by Squire Boone, the brother of legendary frontiersman Daniel Boone.
Wow, that's cool.
They've been quietly under development since 2017. The distillery has been producing small batches of exceptional bourbon on its custom Vendome still since 2018. The Heaven's Door Distillery features 2 separate still houses, each in its own towering western horsebound barn, a visitor center with tasting rooms and lounges overlooking the valley, 6 Mile Creek, and 18th century grist mill, 2 18th century cabins, and a Bavarian barn, all of which have been painstakingly restored. Heaven's Door Distillery plans to open its doors to the public in 2024. So just so you know, we need to be part of that grand opening, don't you think?
I believe so. Yeah, that would be awesome.
So they got shop collection. Here's the collection. So part of it is right now they came out with Ascension and Revival, which Tennessee.
Yeah, and we got to taste Kentucky. All of these at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Right. Well, they had Revelation and Refuge, but this one here
they had the Ascension too.
Did they?
Yeah, they had Ascension, Revelation, and Refuge.
Okay, but now they come out with Exploration, and I just picked that up yesterday. So I'm excited. Bob Dylan does the artwork for all the bottles. It's really kind of cool. This
That's kinda
brand
cool.
this brand is cool. They've got a bootleg series called the Sky Ranch Motel, and the trilogy collection gift set, which we did initially, where I found out I didn't like the Rise, but the Exploration series
Yeah.
is all about pushing the boundaries of whiskey craftsmanship with our master distiller's guidance. We explore new finishing methods to create unique lifetime offerings, enriching the whiskey experience. All right, so that's what we're doing tonight. Now, I do have bourbon. I love it because we haven't done a breaking bourbon, but can you see that, Nash, on your? Is that
Yep.
really? That's up on
Yeah,
the
it's showing
screen.
up real good.
Yep. And basically, this is a 5-year, 108 proof, released in February of 2024, but it just got released to Ohio. It was $80, so that's really cool. The mash bill's undisclosed. Okay, so the tasting, the nose, the palate, and the finish are all there for me, and I haven't tasted this, but I'm going to quick do it. The nose is it's definitely apple and cinnamon. And this is a very unique bourbon. What got me excited was, although it's a Tennessee bourbon, that's one thing. But let me get off this for a second. I'm going to unshare the screen. Stop share. All right. So what got me on this was the fact that it's first in those Calvados casks, but then it's got toasted oak staves. And what is Tiny's wheelhouse? Tiny's wheelhouse is toasted oak staves, right? Let's see, is that going am I missing that? No. Okay. Yeah, we've got these 22 people watching at the moment. That's pretty awesome. So let me get the Facebook up so I can keep monitoring that. How's that going? Yeah. Steve
Sadak he's sipping on some RD1 Amburano wood finish.
Oh, there you go.
And says cheers.
I have that
Cheers,
bottle
Steve.
right behind me. And so one of the cool things, what's on this one, since you're monitoring Facebook, I can monitor, but I'm going to go full screen just so you can, what the heck? Yeah, so you're bigger on the monitor. I just want you to be bigger so everybody can hear you. Because once we get into the other stuff, that'll be
I'm
cool.
not tiny to tiny.
Yeah. All right, so there we go. All right, so yeah, much bigger. Good job, and you're like right in the place where you need to be. All right, so I do get. It's a delicious. I mean, those Calvados casks are an apple brandy, so this is similar. But then you drop those toasted oak staves, right? I'm giving that. It's fresh. It's fresh apple. There's apples in there. It definitely has a very, like, after you bite an apple, the smell of it, that fresh smell, that's there. And then it's got like a cinnamon, but not like the Amburana cinnamon. It's got an actual. All right, I'm excited to taste it when you're smelling fresh apples. That's a palate shock. I'm going to tell you, beautiful body. The legs on this are really nice. It's got a cinnamon. It's hot on a cinnamon level, but the body is fantastic. It's 108 proof, which I approve of. Wouldn't you say 108 proof is like a sweet spot for drinking whiskey? It's when you do the barrel proofs, it's a whole different. You sip a little bit more. You don't.
Yeah.
You're not drinking it, right? That's more a sipper. This is a sipper, but this is still drinking. You know what I mean? You don't feel like you want to put it on ice sometime, but wow. Let me try it again after the palate shock. Wow. I'll tell you, everything that the apple brandy cask finish of Watershed now that it isn't, it is. And every bit of what would you say? There was another the toasted, every bit of Amberana finish stuff, that Amberana is too far. This isn't. This is delicious. That is very, very, very good whiskey. You know what I mean? It's
the master distiller, or head distiller at Heaven's Door. You know?
Well, yeah, I could tell you. We just have to go back to the share screen. Not a problem. Share screen. Go back. I'll go. All right. So here we go. We'll head back over to exploration, collection, distilling, press. Let's see.
That'd probably be under press.
Yeah, I think so. That, and let's do press.
Yeah.
Report, best of the best. Shop, collection, art, distillery. Let's try the distillery. Yeah, there we go. Ken Pierce, an industry veteran, was brought on as master distiller. Ken Pierce.
Ooh.
Let's see. He began his illustrious career with Barton's
Brands Distillery.
And director of distillation, eventually becoming master distiller. Ken was instrumental in the development of 1792.
Small batch.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, they've got Ascension, Revelation, Refuge, Revival, Decade series, and Bootleg series.
Pretty impressive. So he knows what he's doing in bringing out some in full flavors in the whiskeys there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he honestly, what would you say? I think what they're doing initially, that how they were doing it, but now that they're distilling and doing small batch and how they're doing it, and what Bob Dylan, this is the only brand that Bob Dylan ever associated his name to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think.
I wonder if Ross knows Ken.
I don't know. I think Ross he'd know people from Ross and Squibb before he'd know people from Barton, because he's been the master distiller since 2018, and I think Ross was just graduating high school at that time. Just kidding.
No, Ross has been around for a little while.
Yes, he has. So I would. This is honestly. Do you want? If I'm going to barrel bash this. The barrel bashing system, real quick. I don't know if I can actually.
And James Jacobs, if I had scrolled back and had my comments, but James Jacobs is watching, and he said Ken Pierce. He knew it right off the bat.
Of course. He hangs out with everybody. Jamie is awesome. Jamie does.
James and
between James, James and between Jamie and Walker, they got us covered. It's like usually I'm trying to come up with something. I swear to God, they're my what would you say? They're going to keep me.
They're your go-to guys.
They're going to keep me out of trouble. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, because when I'm around, it seems like the trouble gets doubled.
I'll barrel bash it in the number system, but I don't think I can barrel bash it. It's just I'm not
It's just
sure.
a wrist action thing.
Well, no, it's not that, but even my shoulder, because when the shoulder, I went and had a deep tissue massage and it fixed it for about, what would you say, a day, and now it's back. But it's just that I have motion, but it's just painful when you do. Oh, there we go. I got it. Just that last top little extension. But I will say that the barrel bashing scale is a total of 18, 4 for nose, 4 for body, 5 for taste, and 5 for finish, for a total of 18. But you can give it a 19 if you want to give it a butt up. One category, you can actually give one more if it's exceptional. So
Who says he's your personal Wikipedia?
Who said that? Jamie?
James, yeah.
Oh, James. Okay.
He's your personal Wikipedia.
Just so you know, you could call him Jamie. He prefers Jamie because, like, when we did me and CT did the bottle share with Bourbon Real Talk, Randy Sullivan, he was like, "It's Jamie," so we can call him Jamie, even though on Facebook he's James and I'm Jeffrey. You call me Jeffrey and I'll call you James, but normally not. It's just Tiny and Jamie. So, anyways,
I just realized something.
What did
I got that shirt that you're wearing. I gotta pack it in my bag for Hawaii tonight after we get to off the podcast.
When do you go to Hawaii?
Saturday morning.
So I actually leave next week, Tuesday. There will be a podcast. So from Hawaii, you can watch us and comment on Tuesday night at 8:30. But that will be the last podcast, everybody, because we will. I am taking my granddaughter and grandson up to Michigan to visit my newest grandson. Starting the 3rd, we're leaving the night of the 3rd, and then we're going to be gone all the way till the 14th because I've got reunions, and I'm going to be back in Wisconsin. We're going to actually take the ferry from Michigan to Wisconsin. It's just going to be a fun, relaxing vacation where it's actually rest time that I have not done in a while. I don't think it's kind of going to hopefully get a little R&R, and I might do a couple lives just from there if I hit a distillery, but I'm not bringing the podcast equipment.
Next Tuesday, I'll probably comment live from Waikiki Beach.
What you should try and do is I'll send you the invite and see if you can do it. That'd be cool to have you on from Hawaii.
Yeah, I can do it from my phone. Yeah, just send me the invite, and I'll try to come on live from Waikiki Beach, Hawaii.
Yeah, and bring on Mrs. Nash.
I sure will.
Yeah, the two of you.
Because we'll be I'll be taking this bottle here, our anniversary bottle.
You can't take bottles to Hawaii.
Yes, we can. This is what we bottled at Michter's, and we took it out to Colorado when we got married. Opened it up because when we bottled it at Michter's, that's what we said we were going to do. We were going to open it up for our wedding, and that's what we did last July 1st. So we're actually taking this bottle, and so we'll have a little pour of this live on the podcast from Waikiki Beach.
If you guys make it to a year.
What are you saying, Jeff?
I'm saying
I've still got 5 days to mess it up.
Yeah, you got to get to Hawaii with her. You got to travel all the way that way.
I know, in little small seats because first class was sold out.
So here we go. So we're gonna barrel batch it real quick. The nose, in my opinion, is pretty darn good. Not very. And everybody who's watching right now on YouTube, just thank you for watching. There's in Facebook, because right now we have the debates going on, and I think what we're talking about is way better than what they're talking about at the moment. So, anyways, the nose of the fresh apple is unique. This one I am going to give this a straight up 4 on the nose. It's a very strong point. I don't think I've ever had a nose work like this, so 4 for the nose. Now, the body is 100% a 4 also, because it just fills your mouth, top, bottom, cheeks, under your tongue. That's a 4 too.
Pretty good
Now,
for a 5-year-old bourbon.
Oh, this is delicious. What they finished in those toasted oak staves, it's fantastic. Now, when it comes to the taste, you can give it a 5 or up to a 6, but I would say I really like the fact that, like somebody else who used to be on this podcast would say, the nose matches the taste, okay? You know, the palate and the nose are matching up. You still get that. It's almost like, how many times, Nash, do you think that you drink some whiskey and it tastes like you just bit an apple? I mean, this is like you've
been very few times.
Right. It feels like a fresh apple, but there's that cinnamon, the hot cinnamon there now. And then it is a fantastic hug right there. Now, the strength of this, and you pick up just a little bit of oak from the staves.
We got Caravaggio de Santa Isabel watching.
That's awesome. That is completely awesome. So I'm going to give the taste. See, I'm going to give the taste, because it's a finish and it's tough. Oh my God, this is good. For every bit of what the rye is to me, this is like the opposite. I'm going to give the taste a 4 also out of 5. Now, the one thing I will say, it's the weirdest finish. Usually, where do you usually get the finish, Nash? Get it at the back of your throat kind of thing? There's nothing at the back
of the tongue, back of the throat right there.
There's not. It's almost like a breath mint. You know where a breath mint happens after? It's like in the front of your mouth, okay? And you still have the little bit of that apple taste, but in the back there's like a little bit of oak, and the finish would be short, because that's probably why it's a 5-year bourbon will suffer in the finish. So I will also, on this one, I will give the finish a 3 out of 5. So 15 of 18 is what I give Heaven's Door Exploration. I would strongly recommend, if you like finished bourbons, you know what we should do? We should put this up against.
That was only $80 a bottle.
$79.99 off the shelf. You know, awesome. You know, here in Ohio, we just get massive amounts. Like last week, I got. I mean, honestly, how many times have you gotten Blanton straight from the barrel? I mean, I bought it. It was $159.99, but that's not what most people have to pay to get Blanton straight from the barrel. That's a high dollar secondary, you know, right?
Yeah.
So
the cheapest I got it was $100 a bottle, but that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, now it's the MSRP for that was $159.99.
Yeah, and then but secondary is like $250.
It was I would actually
like that. I don't know. I hadn't been on secondary or looked at any secondary prices in a long time.
Yeah, that's true, because we're all getting what we need. If you need any more Weller Green, it's on the shelf, and it's staying on the shelf lately.
That case sitting under here because it's like soon as I wanted it and you got it for me, it's like the whole market was flooded with it. I mean, down south, up, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, everybody got their, just box loads of it. And so even though these places that I was going to trade with, at secondary prices for something that I wanted, they're
Right.
like, no, I got bunches of it now, and I'm only selling it for like $40 a bottle, $50 a bottle, but you were selling it for $80 a bottle.
Right, and it's just kind of I don't like how that secondary market went over, but I'm going to go back to sharing. So Heaven's Door, let me just really quick. It's a collaboration between legendary artist Bob Dylan and Spirits Investment Partnership. Okay, once again, Heaven's Door Spirits is a collaboration between legendary artist Bob Dylan and Spirits Investment Partnership. Bob Dylan's first and only brand partnership, Heaven's Door is aimed to be an ever-evolving portfolio of handcrafted whiskey. The Exploration Series is the brand's largest product extension, which will see the company producing 2 unique expressions under the Exploration Series name annually. The first expression is a Tennessee bourbon that was finished in Calvados casks, Calvados casks, which the company states that for these barrels, Calvados, an apple brandy from Normandy, France, matures for at least 2 years in the French oak cask before being filled with our Tennessee bourbon. Following the finish for an undisclosed amount of time, the bourbon is then exposed to medium-heavy toasted French oak staves sourced from Cucuris patrea trees. Cucuris patrea trees for an undisclosed amount of time before being blended and bottled. It's one of those few whiskey brands using Calvados barrels to finish their whiskey in. As would be expected, the bourbon is heavily influenced by the finished barrels, which shine through right from the start. So, I mean, it's just like it was. That was from Breaking Bourbon: cinnamon powder, breakfast pastry, vanilla frosting, charred oak, peppercorn, light leather, hint of tobacco leaf was the palate for them. Finished was touch of leather, but most of it is dry cinnamon powder and light oak, light apple. I mean, I'm just like the apple on this one. That's what I got more than breakfast pastry and vanilla frosting on the palate.
That's got to be coming from like the Calvados apple brandy.
Yeah, I mean it is, and Breaking Bourbon is Jordan Moscow. You can see him on the Bourbon Roundtable with Kenny and Ryan from Bourbon Pursuit. So check him out there. So that's what I got off of that for you guys. So let's go on to the brand, the corporation. We reviewed all the corporations last podcast. I'm going to take this off and put us up. There we go. Stop sharing. Yep. And I will go full screen. How's the comments on anything, Walker?
Walker said Blanton straight from the barrel is 200 to 275 on secondary.
Well, Walker,
that's what I was thinking. Like I say, 200 to 250, but he's saying 200 275.
Yeah, because it's gone up, and honestly, I will tell you that.
And he recommended me a place for a 4-course dinner in Waikiki called Basalt for a 4-course dinner.
That's awesome. So
he says drink elsewhere. The pours are too expensive there.
I actually have the 10-year from Heaven's Door here, which I gave a really good rating last time. But now I've got my little Heaven's Door collection. Plus, from the first podcast, I still have the double barrel whiskey, which is a Tennessee. And I'm just going to do it straight from the bottle. they have improved. That's okay, but they have improved. So, Suntory is what we're going to be talking about this time. So, it used to be Beam Suntory, but now it is Suntory. So, the Suntory Corporation, which I have a good thing right here to share the screen. Let's just get that up. Produces a lot of different, what would you say, spirits. And we're going to switch over here. Nope, that's the wrong. Heaven Hill. What the heck? Oh, premium. No, why did I get? Nope, that's not even it. That's not the share screen. There's the share screen. All right, that's not it. There we go. Heaven's Door Beam. All right, so they're brands. So let's just go to the home. All right, here we go. So Suntory is a Japanese company that has purchased Maker's Mark.
1879, I do believe. Without looking, I had read earlier.
That what?
Oh, look at me! I'm sitting there taking my computer, trying to click on your screen about us.
Oh, but you can see their brands. They purchased Jim Beam and Maker's Mark as their bourbons. And the great thing, what we talked about, is that although it's a Japanese company, because of the 1964 resolution that Congress passed, bourbon has to be made
in America.
In America, but they purchased the place where it's mostly made. They partnered and purchased Jim Beam and Maker's Mark. For a long time, it was Beam Suntory, but now it's just Suntory, which is fine. Because of the fact that they also they own Lafarlac? La Prague, thank you. And they also own a lot of Japanese whiskey, which I do have Hibiki right here, and I will switch over real quick.
Hibiki is some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm going to have some of it because this bottle is hand painted, and so let's just do about them. All right, number one bourbon and Japanese whiskey. So it was.
Do you have that bottle at the festival?
What?
Hibiki hand painted bottle.
I didn't bring it with me, but I had it at the time.
I think I might have tasted it when I came up.
Yeah, this was a podcast along with and we did that one, and it's a pretty popular podcast along with Suntory Toki. And I'm just gonna get off of the stop sharing screen. There you go. We've got the Hibiki right here and the Suntory Toki. Everybody, I'm going to switch out, and then I am going to pour some Hibiki. So Suntory makes some really good Japanese whiskey. The owner who started this in 1939. And
I'm going to pour, since they purchased Maker's Mark, I'm going to purchase. I'm going to pour some Maker's Mark cellar aged.
But we're gonna start off with the Hibiki, but we're gonna go with oh, it is such a pretty bottle, and this bottle was a birthday present from my wonderful Roxy.
And
look at the box; it comes in that nice. Oh, you got the cellar aged. Oh, so you know that wood finishing series that's being released right now from the. I'll do a shout out to Stacy Pritchard, who basically picked me up a bottle.
Did she?
Yeah. Next time I'm down in Kentucky, which I'll try and be soon. So Japanese whiskey is a lighter whiskey. It's lighter and fruitier. But this has been open for a little bit, and it's kind of cool. Let's just put it over here. Yeah, we're still doing pretty good. Let's see. What's the monitoring on Facebook lately? Are we doing good on there? Oh, Walker says
Shared to Maker's Mark group says
yeah.
we transition to Suntory discussion. Thank you, Walker.
Thank you, Walker. Thank you.
Oh, and he says Lafroig.
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 Yeah,
Lafroig. We need to get Martin Duffy on just to do. Let's just do a pronunciation.
Martin, yeah, he'll set us straight on all the Scotch names.
But so Suntory owns a Scotch. It owns a Canadian. It owns, I believe, Canadian Club. I want to say, and a Canadian whiskey. It owns Jim Beam. It owns Maker's Mark. And so, I'm telling you, this is not what I remember. This Hibiki.
Like honeysuckle, floral, a little bit floral.
It was smoky.
Smoky.
On the nose. It's honey, though. So this Hibiki has a ton of honey on the... Now,
they own the Balmore.
There you go.
Lafroig.
Lafroig. They own
and they do own Canadian Club.
There you go.
Yep.
And Freddie, once Suntory purchased Beam,
they also own Saza tequila.
Yeah.
And then the Suntory Tiki, Hibiki.
Well, I've got the Hibiki and the Toki.
Hibiki and Toki.
Suntory whiskey Toki, which is Toki barrels. I mean, and that's something that we just picked up from those Toki barrels that we did for the state of Ohio with Starlight.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm looking at a couple of others that look pretty interesting. The Yamazaki single malt whiskey, 12 years old, and then the Hakushu single malt whiskey that's aged 12 years that they own, brands they own.
Yeah, and one of them,
they got a pretty extensive, and they also own a lot of other food and beverage brands as well. Numerous food and beverage brands. But these are just the spirit brands that they own.
Right. They own a lot of spirit brands. Even, there's even Japanese alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, lots of beers and malts and beers and stuff like that.
So this is what the corporations now. If it's a corporation,
wines.
What?
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Look, they own like about 10 different wine brands.
So the ultimate combination of this is Legent.
Yeah.
Take a look. It's got the two master distillers. So this one gives me a chance to explain, because Freddie and Fred talked about this experience when they did Legent. Okay. So, two legendary creators behind some of the world's most revered whiskeys have come together to bring you something special, expertly distilled by 7th generation master distiller Fred No, and then refined by world-renowned chief blender Shinui Fukuyo. 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 Okay, so there you go. And Shinji. Okay, so Fred and Freddie both have worked with Shinji. And Legent is a marriage of East and West. It is a celebration of the craftsmanship of Kentucky bourbon balanced with the artisan of Japanese blending. So they gave him Shinji. They gave him Kentucky bourbon and had him do the blending, and he put it back into barrels. And he thought that it would take 3 to 5 years to come out with the first batch. And Fred and Freddie kind of snickered with that. When they were with Shinji, he basically wakes up every day. He eats exactly the same thing for breakfast. He then waits a specific amount of time, clears his palate, and he tastes from 9, 10 o'clock all the way till lunchtime. Eats the exact same thing for lunch and then tastes in the afternoon. And then he might change what he eats for dinner because he goes home and whatever. But he consistently does this every single day because he believes he wants to set his palate perfectly. So he's a renowned blender of Japanese whiskeys and whatnot. So once they came up with it and they had it in these specific, I believe that's a special cherry blossom barrel. But let me see. With Kentucky bourbon balanced with the artistry of Japanese blending. From rich aromas of mature oak and lingering spice to the flavors of dried fruits pulled from wine and sherry casks, every sip of Legent is worth savoring and sharing. But a bold Kentucky bourbon by Master Fred, no. So once they put it in a blend of refined by Chief Blender Shinji. So Shinji did the blending and Fred did the distilling, and he just thought it would take a little bit of time, but it was ready in about, as Fred said, 8 months in the Kentucky heat. He wasn't used to how you age it. You know what I mean? And he put it in the casks, and he's like, okay, we'll let it sit for 2 years and we'll test it. And Fred's like, oh, no, we won't. So that was really cool. So we just, Fred No at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, we did an interview with him, and that just went up on YouTube. So everybody check that out who's watching on YouTube. Check out the Fred No, check that out. And then also, that is going to be on Roku. I'm excited for the Roku thing. We are going to be touring. I already talked to Bo, so I'm going to get tomorrow and this weekend our bus tour up and then sent so that it could go on Roku. And then I also talked to Kenny Fuller. I called him up this week. Kenny does such a great job with our theme song, and he's willing to do all the background music I need for the videos where he produces those. And so we've got a team to go down to Kentucky and shoot some really good Roku. We can shoot some really good Roku footage, and hopefully, if this goes well, we will be the bourbon whiskey. Because we like Scotch, we like Japanese whiskey, we like bourbon. We just love all types of whiskeys. There's a really good chance we're going to be traveling to shoot a lot of stuff. I'm going to be getting an equipment upgrade soon, as what I've been told. So let's just see where it takes us, right?
That's right.
It's funny because I've been doing a lot. I appreciate you coming on tonight, Nash. I do.
I'm glad I could. Like I say.
So do you have any Legent?
Yes, I do. It's in there in the 700 bottles, and I didn't know about it.
All right, so this is the combination
Yeah, I got
of
about half a bottle in there.
what happens when Japanese whiskey company corporation buys an American bourbon corporation, and they do a combination.
Collaboration, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pour a little.
And Walker mentioned earlier on here, he commented, this collaboration was with the Yamazaki whiskey company that was, part of the Suntory.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's
But
definitely.
it was Yamazaki Whiskey Company. It was, and I imagine the blender, which
Soji.
you delicately mentioned his name earlier. Was he was like the blender and distiller there at Yamazaki.
So this bottle is the first bottle. This is the first batch.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, if you look at that Legent bottle, let me see if I can get that onto. Yeah, you can see both the silhouette of Fred No right there, and then Soji right there. So that was really cool. Now they've done other. They've kept this brand going, but
see, a lot of people didn't realize that those silhouettes are there.
Yeah,
they just looked at that as like a big black wave or something, But I noticed that right off the bat with those silhouettes that were there.
Yeah, and it's like, so it's really kind of a cool collaboration. And you when Freddie's been over in Japan working with him, and Fred went over initially. It's when it comes to bringing American whiskey, then blended by the guy who makes Japanese whiskey. This really is good. What do you got there? You got 13-year?
Right. Well, Walker just commented that the bottle is similar to a baker's bottle. So if you hold that back up, it is exactly. Look at the top and everything.
Same bottle.
Except, see, that the top is basically a wooden top instead of this sort of metal top, but same bottle.
Yeah.
Same exact bottle. Look at there.
Yep. You see that I got them both up?
Yeah, you do.
Yes, I do. And there you go. But I will say that then you're just talking about you initially poured a Maker's, right? Because they own Maker's Mark. And that it's so bizarre because Bill Samuels and Fred No were neighbors. And back in when 30 some years ago, when the Kentucky Bourbon Festival started, they lived on the same block. And Maker's Mark from the 50s and whatever, and those two families have been, they basically have
hung out in the same hotel room during the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
With Booker
and drank with each other,
and they kind of went and shot some things and then tried to clean them and shove them down the toilet.
Yeah, we'll keep that story to ourselves.
Well, my favorite analogy
on
is
that tangent tonight.
If you ever want to understand, it's like the reason why Texas does so well with the bourbon industry is if you ever watch the movie Giant and those oil industry people, bourbon is similar to what happened to the oil industry. At one point, it was worth nothing. Then all of a sudden, people started driving cars. And then you watch that movie and you see the way the families act and they go and do things. And although the whole time they're against each other, when they go and do things out in the world, they're partners. You know what I mean? And it's just an amazing thing, exactly how the bourbon industry, although I don't think they compete quite as much. I mean, but once again, oil in Texas, there's just an endless amount. Same thing.
But it seemed like to me, from what I've read and studied, about the oil industry, there was such a big competition between all the oil giants. Okay, because they all wanted to control. They all wanted to control their parts of the oil industry.
But that was
And so they
once the
competed against each other.
corporations.
Whereas the whiskey industry,
No. The corporations wanted to do that. That
Yeah.
was that. But when Giant was made, it was the individual, companies. Now,
yeah,
nobody did. Nobody made they didn't have a resolution in Congress saying that Texas oil only could, oil in the only place in the world you could get oil from is, the United States.
No, that wasn't what I was getting at.
No, but I mean, if that would have happened, the corporations wouldn't have been able to take over. But now that the corporations all have purchased up all the oil in America, they've got it all in Saudi Arabia, they got it all everywhere. It's the corporations that are dueling, and you're right. But when it comes to corporations buying up bourbon companies or bourbon distilleries, they have to keep it right there in Kentucky because it wouldn't make sense to move it any other place. Because if you moved it to any other place, you lose sales because Kentucky is bourbon. The rest of the country makes really good bourbon, and I'm not saying that, but Kentucky and bourbon go hand in hand overall, number one. But one of the things that's nice about the fact that the bourbon industry has these other distilleries all over the place is that these big conglomerates aren't buying them all up. Although, we'll talk the next time on Tuesday, we'll talk about Heaven Hill and what they've done and how they've stayed a family-owned company, but they're still buying up now other bourbon companies from other states, like Widow Jane. So the last thing that we should share together is you got it, I got it. We got some Baker's 13 right here.
What's your last thoughts on the Hibiki? Since you were finishing it off,
I finished the Hibiki and went on to the Legency.
No, but you didn't finish talking about your taste and your mouthfeel. And
so Japanese whiskey, it got a bad name. So at one point they wanted to be Scotch, right? And they did a lot of nefarious things and got a really bad name for lying and not following rules and whatnot. But when it comes to Suntory, they are following rules. So basically, Japanese whiskey is similar to Scotch. One of the most famous Japanese distillers went to Scotland to learn how the Scottish did it, and then brought that back, and that's how Japanese whiskey started getting its name. But Japanese whiskey in the 70s and 80s notoriously got a reputation for lying about what they were doing, and then they've spent all this time bringing their whiskey back to, quality whiskey because the rules allowed them to do this. So here we go. So fresh, fruity, after sitting in there for, I believe this is the second year, it picks up a light smokiness, even less than even Johnny Walker Blue. But this hand-painted bottle is actually spectacular. The whiskey in it is unique, but once again, it's It lacks the body and the punch that I love from bourbon because I'm sure, based off this, just like Irish whiskey and other, this seems like it's been aged in used barrels. And let's just see. Let's see if I know what I'm talking about. There is some text on the back, and then we're almost ready to go. Hibiki was launched in 1989, a commemorative Suntory philosophy of living in harmony with people and nature. The name Hibiki means resonance. In Japanese, Suntory whiskey Hibiki resonates with the subtleties of nature infused by the 24 seasons of Japan traditional calendar and reflected in the 24 facets of its bottle design. Hibiki is noble blend of a numerous malt and grain whiskeys from Suntory's globally acclaimed Yamasaki Hakushu, Yamasaki Hakushu, and Cheetah distilleries. These whiskeys are meticulously blended to create a sense of wow and oneness with which unveils a oneness which it unveils a full orchestra of flavor and aroma. The 2021 limited edition bottle design of Hibiki Japanese Harmony pays tribute to the Ryushi Ayaka 100 flowers of flowering water design motif often featured in Japan's traditional art and ceremonial design. The Ryusui Hayaka celebrates the harmony of the cyclical passage of time symbolized through ever-changing flow of water and blossoms of our 24 seasons. Hibiki is embraced as an icon of Japanese luxury from the award-winning house of Suntory whiskey. That was painful.
Yeah, I was about to say, do we need to bring on a translator here, a Japanese translator?
This is seriously painful.
Good job, though. And Terry Dance watching, and he said, "Good stuff tonight," and thanks us.
So, Dawn says, "Show us how to smell a whiskey." All right, and then we also have a person on from Russia. So,
Awesome.
So the great thing about this glass, it's called a Glencairn. What?
Flyente.
Okay. So that was on YouTube, and this glass actually can roll and spin it around, and you can check out how the whiskey flows down and the body of the whiskey that way. But as far as the smell, this glass, the whiskey sits in the bottom, and as the aromas come up, they are basically brought closer together to allow you.
They're funneled towards your note, the opening of the glass.
There you go. So when you sniff, I always sniff at the bottom. And this one, I pick up fresh aromas of honey, a little bit of some sort of wood, not oak, but it's got a woody smell to it. But if you smell from the top, you pick up a floral, almost a soapy, I would say lavender smell to it. So when you're when you're trying to nose a whiskey, you definitely want to use the Glencairn glass. It's perfect for nosing a whiskey. There's other glasses, but this one I consider the best.
So let her know that she does have a predominant nostril. that sometimes she might can smell better out of one nostril. So using one nostril.
Yeah, Dawn. And it will switch from time to time. So what you want to do is when you start sniffing, sniff one nostril, sniff the other nostril. Right now, my right nostril is the dominant, where I'm picking up the malt flavor of this particular whiskey because it's a single malt. There's a little bit of fruity, I'd say like peachy. But if I go off my non-dominant, I don't pick up anything. So, but it will switch from time to time. Sometimes, now I did pick up something there on my left nostril. Definitely the peachy smell. So it's just, oh, Nash, my dominant nostril just switched right now. It went from right to left.
Right to the left. Right in the middle. Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. So there you go. It's just like you got it. One of the nostrils will pick up all the smells, and then the other one will be neutral. There's nothing. But I just actually switched in the middle. So that's really kind of cool. So
and Walker says, be careful if you pour too generously if you want to roll the glass because you'll lose whiskey when you roll it too.
Yeah, on the bar top. This bar top has been spectacular. I really love. So this is reclaimed wood from a barn, and Daniel, when he was Daniel Burton, did this bar top for us, and it's funny because there's lots of pits and it's reclaimed woods and everything, but when I look at it on the podcast, it's spectacular, isn't it? Doesn't it come across as just like the perfect?
I do have one question. When you were reading the story about the Hibiki,
yeah,
am I to believe that whiskey right there that you were drinking is a marriage from two different distilleries
in Japan? Yes, 100%.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good blend to take. Usually you have a blend of several different whiskeys, or from one distillery. But to take whiskeys from two different distilleries and blend them together, that's pretty. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then the master, the blender, is the same guy who's blending with
on the Legent. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. That Walker had mentioned that he was from the Yamakuzi distillery. All right, so
hey, wait.
Did you say you wanted to have a pour of the Jim Beam Baker's 13?
Let's finish that up.
Jim Beam Glencairn. Fresh. And this is a fresh crack. I just had to take the seal off of this bottle.
I got two last year, and look at this.
I did too, because one of mine is signed.
Yeah, one of mine signed too. I had cracked this because,
and that's why I got this one, because this one wasn't signed.
So also we might consider doing Campari, which is I'm gonna try that, the 15-year Russell's Reserve. I don't know how you get it, but somehow we got to get it.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. Oh my God, people are going nuts on secondary. I just saw one on secondary, and the guys want like $500 on secondary.
Well, I mean, that's within the Nash secondary range. But
if I was gonna spend $500 on for a secondary bottle, I would go get a bottle of Pappy 12-year, because that's what I pay for it.
Okay.
If I have
So
to buy it, if I have to buy it secondary, in which every now and then, if I cannot pick one up, at a reasonable rate, I got to replenish Sherry's special bourbon. I got to keep the wife happy.
You got to keep the Tiny happy too. There's that too. Anyways,
I know because I shipped you up a couple of samples out of her bottle.
Yes, you have, and I still have them ready to go. But I will say, I heard about Michter's Shanks and Bombergers this year. It's a special release, and I've been working hard to see when that's going to release here in Ohio because I'm all in on both of them. Got to figure it out.
Yeah, because I don't think I have any backup bottles. What I got on the shelf is what I got, and I think I just opened up the last 2 bottles of each, and so I've got probably 3/4 a bottle of the Bombergers and 3/4 a bottle of the Shanks.
Thank you, Jamie, about the bar top. Okay, you can also move the glass around your nose. Yeah, and then Walker's was talking about how to use a Glencairn and do the sniffing, and definitely. Now I've got this right here, everybody. On man, YouTube just goes crazy. So, what is that smell? Okay, so what's the nose? Okay. Oh, cherry. Is there cherry? It's cherry. There's a
Cherry vanilla.
like a cherry vanilla Coke.
Yep.
That's delicious.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's cherry vanilla Coke all day.
So I still have an original bottle back there of Baker's 7 before it went to single barrel, which was my wife's one of Roxy's favorite bottles, Baker's 7. I would buy that for her left and right, even when they updated it. If I could find a bottle of Baker's 7,
you mean the wax top?
Yeah, I
do too.
I have that back there, and
I got one in there on my shelf. Sits up there on the top shelf.
But they're so spectacular in how they drink.
Yes, and that's why that one's still sitting in there unopened.
Well, mine's open. I've got 2 Baker 7 single barrels open. One's an 8, one's a 7. Those are good. I've got the Baker's 7 and then the Baker's 13. But last year's Baker's 13, open for a little bit now, is drinking really like it's behaving like the 7 with a really nice oak finish.
Oh, that's so good.
Spectacular.
We could share this pour together, brother. Cheers.
So Dawn says, Glencairn, learn a new thing. Thank you. So it's really cool on Facebook to pick up, YouTube to pick up people and all these new people and the lives on that have been going. Now, honestly, to do this live on Facebook with the horizontal format, I think it looks spectacular. You know what I mean? On Zoom. But YouTube wants 100% this to go on your phone vertically. If I do it horizontally, it looks great. It looks good on the TV. If I do it vertically, you watch it on TV, it's dumb. But that's not where the views are. It's on the phone. So we've gone horizontal, and it's made all the difference in the world as far as I'm still looking for that first long video. There's long videos. The shorts aren't a problem. We've had millions. I mean, there's one short. That short of me filling up the bottle still is, I think it's at like 17.5 million views. And every day
Wow.
it gets 2,000 to 3,000 views an hour. It just keeps going and going. It's like the Energizer battery.
Which one was that?
The one where I fill the barrel and then give CT the finger. I don't know why. And then when we did the barrel pick, me and CT did the barrel pick at Bluegrass. There's one that just keeps going, but that's like 4.7 million. I'm not like complaining. I mean, Hannah holds the record on Facebook Reels for 32.6 million views.
Walker says he's going to bring some Baker's 13 for the bus.
That would be great, Walker. And then also know, Walker, that we're going to be, when we pick up this, I'm looking at July 20th to go get the barrel picks. Hopefully everything will be ready and going, and I'm probably going to need you a little bit to pick up some of the slack. It was good sales and everything, but I might need a little bit more. And I will 100% work on, once we got it, how it sells. It'll be a lot easier to sell. I think even Super Nash will be able to sell some of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that pick, Nash, is historic. It's the last barrel pick that Alan Bishop did at the Spirit of French Lick.
Yeah.
He showed me barrels. I wish I would have. I mean, honestly, there's a barrel there.
I knew of some barrels being hid back there.
Well, I'm telling you what we tasted.
I wish I could have been there.
I'm telling you what we tasted on the Lee Sinclair that was distilled initially in 2015, and now 9 years old. It tasted so good. It's just getting older and older.
Hey, speaking of Lee W. Sinclair, when I get back from Hawaii, because finally I just got my house finished up and it looks spectacular. All the vinyl side and everything.
You
just got finished up Tuesday.
No more bees nest in the gutters.
Oh, it's all gone. There are no gutters right now. It's all. There's no. It's beautiful.
Okay.
All vinyl sided. Everything's covered. It's spectacular. All that's done. Like I say, 2 or 3 things that I had going on is all completed and all. No worries, no more. That trailer went out of here Wednesday evening finally, or no, Tuesday evening. You know, the food trailer, and I've had sitting in here for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Couldn't get parts for, so I had to go to the beach. So anyway, that's all gone, paid for. So anyway,
no more beach trips.
Yeah, Waikiki Beach.
No. That's Hawaii. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not a beach trip.
Well, to be honest, yeah. After I get back, mid to late July, I got to go down there because I got 3 jobs.
Yeah, but
they're already approved and everything.
You need to get to Spirit of French Lick on July 20th. You gotta see if you can make that happen. You gotta be there, Nash, for that pickup.
I've got to work. I just told you I had 3 jobs that already approved. All the invoices, are all approved.
I'm sorry, then I'll just have to leave you out of all that fun.
But anyway,
there's a barrel. There's the Lily and Sinclair barrel.
Do you remember when Alan wrote me the recipe for Lee W. Sinclair on a napkin.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to run that recipe and distill that recipe and barrel it.
Why don't you, when you run that recipe, invite Amanda Bryant to come up and help you?
She's so busy.
Oh, no.
Honestly, I with what she's got going on.
You need to ask her.
But
because that's the kind of shit she'll do.
But I've got it all the grains and everything setting out here. I've got it all set and ready. All I got to do is grind it, mash it in. But I'm not going to mash it in until right after I come back from Hawaii.
All right. What a podcast!
Awesome, man. Suntory Global Spirits and Heaven's Door.
Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan. He's pushed this to the place it needs to go. At first, I didn't. It was put it this way: out of all the celebrity bourbons out there and all the celebrity stuff, legitimately, I think Heaven's Door is number one. He's got the bottle design. He's got the label design. He's got the whiskey coming from the right place.
The product, yeah.
And he's got a master distiller
really
from Barton's with 2 stills now producing whiskey that he's making. Most of those guys, they, even Peyton Manning with something, what is it, Cove, Hidden Cove or whatever Cove, or he did his first, they did their first thing. Where's the second round, right? So I just think that
well, a lot of them, they see it as, just a step in. It's like a step in and step out,
Yeah.
But Bob Dylan, like I say, he's put his both feet in the water, and he's floating his cruise ship right along.
There's right? Walker. Walker, Sweetens Cove. It's Sweetens Cove.
Sweetens Cove, yeah.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching tonight. Right. Thanks for coming on Super Nash.
Everybody on YouTube Live, Facebook Live. We all appreciate you watching, tuning into us crazy guys that just sitting here talking about whiskey and the industry itself. Anytime we get a chance to hang out with y'all, we have a blast.
Yes, 100% for sure. Thank you. YouTube Live. There was a lot of people were monitoring that, so hopefully we pick up a couple more people to watch what we're doing, and it's just the sky's the limit, right? All right, everybody. www.scotchybourbonboys.com for all things Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Check us out there. And then also check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and X. And then all the major podcast formats: Apple, iHeart, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon. If you're listening, we're there. And then remember, good bourbon equals good times and good friends. Make sure you drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And live.
Go out.
Go ahead.
Live your life dangerously.
Adventurously.
Venturously.
And
dangerously.
And little Steve-O's going to take us out.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Yeah. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Although that's why. Oh, if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
All right, I got that stopped recording. We're still up. There we go. I'm gonna save this. Hit the audio magic. Good podcast, Super Nash.
Absolutely.
Use background noise.
Yeah, we had a lot of people on Facebook tuning in at several different times, and still got like 6 or 7 people watching now.
Yeah.
And
Podcast studio. All right.
So-
File. Publish to uploading. We're gonna call this. I gotta figure out what I'm calling this. Heaven's Door Suntory. HD Suntory. All right, there we go. Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Yep, that's what I'm. All right, so I'm saving that there. We're still live, YouTube and Facebook. Dawn gave us XOs for answering the questions. So what did you, so what's your collection of Japanese whiskey that you got?
what?
Do you have any Japanese whiskey? Look at
No,
look at
I've only tasted whenever I've been out with other people and their collections.
look at the bottle level on that.
Wow, you've only just opened that. and
Yeah,
tasted
I
it a couple
opened
of
this-
times. There's only
this
like
was-
2 or
this-
3 pours out of that.
So this was a podcast before Young Nose left.
Okay. Have you heard anything from him lately?
I blocked him on everything because when he did his
Walk.
the end of the world thing,
Yeah.
it's just too much for me. I just don't, put it this way. His wife is very religious and he's gone that way. And,
Yeah.
God bless him. But, when you're putting up on the Scotchy Bourbon Boys that the world is ending and you have to repent, that's when
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
kind of.
that's about the last time I saw anything of him. I think he messaged me one time about something, if I knew anybody that needed some insurance or something, because he was changing jobs again from the home inspections to insurance.
I mean, he got his license for being a home inspector.
Yeah, well, he's changed from that, and now he's like in insurance.
Well, if you're going to sell insurance, you should. I should hook him up with whiskey and bring him back to Ohio.
Yeah. I don't think his wife would go over with that.
What?
I don't think his wife would go over too well with that.
Do I like that guy?
Yeah.
What guy are we?
Guy you're gonna hook up with whiskey?
That would be Young Nose.
Oh.
Super Nash just told me that he switched into insurance from inspecting. Whatever. That was Roxy, everybody.
Hey, Roxy.
Oh, you're still on? I thought you guys were done.
No, we're done with the podcast. We're just
Okay,
not done with Facebook and YouTube. We still have 14 YouTube viewers. YouTube,
And 6 Facebook watchers
yeah, but I am impressed.
hanging out with us, sipping on. What's everybody on Facebook sipping on?
And what's everybody on YouTube sipping on? Let us know. Great podcast tonight. I have no problem. So, what was that? Cellar aged? Where did you get that one?
That one I traded for with a guy here in Greenville, and it cost me a couple of E.H. Taylor single barrels.
So,
That's not bad.
Are you still interested in E.H. Taylor small batch?
I'll always take a small batch.
Okay, because this Saturday, Blanton's small batch and one other, 107, and I'm not sure. It's,
No, I need the 107.
yeah,
I definitely want a small batch because I small batch.
Yes, you do.
I like sipping on the 107 too.
I've got 4 small batches, so that's the only one I have enough of. I wish you could have tasted this one.
I'm gonna pick up a bottle of that.
You should. Not the 10-year. The apple brand. That one.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. So I will sip off of that. I'm going to give Roxy a pour of that tonight. And I did the wrong thing. I mixed different types of bourbon and Japanese whiskey and bourbon and mixtures, and I didn't eat, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Is John Ritt, is he checking us out tonight? I hadn't seen him chime in.
I saw him chime in on the initial post, but
Okay.
there's a lot of people watching the debate tonight. You might lose some people to that. I mean,
Yeah.
all I can say is, if realistic, oh my God. If you really don't know who you're going to vote for by now,
if you don't know who you're going to vote for by now,
you haven't been paying attention to the world.
You know,
it's just that simple.
You don't know who you're voting for by now. After almost four years, of this person being in office and what he's done to you, and your paycheck, your family, and what you've had to pay out for your life, living expense.
It's reality.
I
mean, the reality of the 4 years prior had nothing to do with your pocketbook, and these 4 years had everything to do with your pocketbook. What do you?
Yes.
You're gonna get me in trouble. What are you drinking on? Tell me what you're putting in there, because I'm having. Oh, which one is that?
30th anniversary Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
That's a Kentucky Bourbon Festival one?
Yep. Yep. See the sticker right there?
Yeah. You mean that sticker?
You maybe pour a little too much.
Look at mine's not opened.
Don't know how it tastes then, do you?
What? No, I bought 2.
Know how it tastes then, do you?
I bought 2.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So what I'm going to sip on as the last thing that I didn't last time. But look at this. This is going to make whiskey jealous. Look what that is. That's the old style bottle, but that's Knob Creek 12 with the old style bottle, opposed to
that bottle that you had right there, the 12-year, was sitting right behind this one on my shelves.
You got the old style?
I got this one off the shelf tonight because I looked at it and I was like, oh wow, I hadn't visited that one in a while.
Make me call off tomorrow. Fake cork. I'm not against fake corks, but I'm also good for
actually not going out on any jobs, but I've got a lot of office work because, see, June 30th is that's the end of my second quarter. So I've got to finish out the books for June, then go over all the things for my sales tax because they'll be due July 20th.
I have a question.
Hmm.
Oh,
That is so good.
yeah. Do you think that you can transfer your fire extinguisher business to Kentucky?
It'd be a whole new startup.
Yeah, except at the same time, you know a lot of places already.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be hard to do this the distilleries where it would be a new startup is everywhere else?
You know, and funny you should mention that. I just opened up a letter and laying on the front, and it's laying out there on the front seat of my van. I had my hands full with so much other stuff coming in tonight, but with the front seat of my van, when I stopped by the post office box, one of the few letters that I picked up, and that I opened up standing in the post office box before I walked out, because I always try to flip through to see if junk mail or keep it and go out the door. Well, I looked at this one, and it was like, confidential, blah blah blah, and it was from looked like it was from a lawyer. Well, usually when they're like that, I'm thinking, well, oh wow, here's this big company I work for, and all they're going out of business and blah blah blah, so they're gonna short me some money and crap. And well, open it up. Well, guess what it is? It's
Hold on. What?
Everybody else gone? Just you and Martin?
No, we're on Facebook and YouTube,
Oh,
but
you're on Facebook.
you're Roxy, so anytime you want to
No,
ask.
that's all right. Go.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Nash.
another company. They're wanting to buy me out. Oh, they've got already talking about they got investors that want companies that in my area, and my company already fits the profile that they're looking for. They're already approved, for
Just make
blah, blah,
sure
blah,
I
several
would do
million
it. I would do it in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
If they're
Well,
if
that's
they
why
get that
that's
for the
why
right amount of money.
Yeah, Jeff, that's why I didn't throw it away. That's why I took the card and the letter and brought it out, laid it on my front seat, because, like I say, I'm fixing to go to Hawaii, but I'm going to take a look at it and give them a call.
Yeah, give them a call when you come back.
Because,
Look, you can get out of that and become a Scotchy Bourbon Boy on Roku.
I'm at the point right now that, for the right amount of money, and this is worth, 37 years.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have to move Sherry's mom if you move her to Kentucky?
He lives in California.
Okay, so you don't have to. So you just have to move her to a really nice place in Kentucky where there's lots of shit going for your wife. Not for the rest of the world, because your wife is amused with things that most of the rest of the world isn't amused by.
Nope, she'd be content with that farmhouse that we rent every year.
She would.
If
She
I could
likes
get
it.
that in Bardstown,
If we could get it, okay.
we.
What do you mean? How many bedrooms do you guys need? You just need one. Really, you got one already.
decline to answer that question while we're still alive.
We'd be close to Randy. God damn.
Oh, I know.
I've since I've gone to a Cincinnati Reds game with Randy.
I refuse to become a Chicago Cubs fan, though.
I don't. I would be a Cubs fan. I would be anyone.
I'd still be an Atlanta Braves fan.
And then
Would fly
your
back
Braves.
to
The Braves screwed me today.
the-
How does Chris Sale pitch and they lose 1-0 to the freaking
Oh, my
worst goddamn team on the goddamn planet?
Oh my God! How about that Yankees game here just a few days back, last weekend, where they lost like 9-2? They let the Yankees just
The
come out and
White Sox
beat their ass.
lost to the White Sox beat the freaking Braves today 1-0.
No, it's mid-season, and Braves always do this. Mid-season, they got a couple of players that are on the injured list.
Yeah, Acuna, losing him hurt, but it's still Chris Sale. He still pitched great, but how do they lose to the shitty ass White Sox?
White Sox, I know.
They're the last place team.
Who pitched today?
Chris Sale, your
Oh
best
my.
pitcher. I had him in the 3 parlay. The Yankees and the other team, they hit, but he. Riley. So what's happening at the White Sox field? Riley hit one that looked like it would be a homer, and it just hit the gap.
Riley used to play for the Braves.
He does.
Okay.
And the White Sox guy in center caught the ball. I'm just like, oh damn. I was watching and I just needed that to hit because
That's right, Walker. Tomahawk chop and go Braves.
What I'm a Padre fan this year.
Oh my gosh. So you change with the wind, don't you?
I'm a fantasy baseball guy. I tried to trade in my league. I had a trade with my friend. It was for Riley and the second baseman Klesnik or Kolsnek or whatever. What you know him? And they were slumping crazily and doing nothing. So I did the trade, and it was for Iraqi and what was his name on the Dodgers, their third baseman. Anyways, he's hurt, and then all of a sudden, I did this trade. And the week the trade happens, all of a sudden Riley and the second baseman are like hitting homers left and right. Hey, Alice, go up. Grammy's home. Go upstairs. You can hear.
Yeah, Walker. Most all my jerseys are like
go upstairs.
From the 1990s pitching stuff, like Smoking Smoltz and.
I've got my jersey is Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones. I like Andrew Jones.
I loved Andrew Jones. I love the Braves. I love Maddox when he was on the Braves and the Cubs.
That's one of my other ones, Greg Maddox. That's one of my other jerseys. And
Steve Avery.
Nope, not Avery. I
Smoltz?
like Avery, but
did you have Smoltz?
Yeah, Smoking Smoltz.
Yeah,
Smoltz. John Smoltz.
Maddox,
John Smoltz was
Avery.
Was my
that
favorite
year.
pitcher.
That 1 year, it was Avery, Smoltz, and Maddox. They all were just like bottoms out. With what was the closer that year? What was his name? Smoltz eventually
He's
became
an
the
announcer. He's an announcer now for the Braves.
No, he's not. Ernie Johnson's still the announcer.
Okay, it's like David Justice before he became a Yankee. Yeah.
I love David.
Tom
You mean
Glavine. Walker Tom Glavine. Tom Glavine. That's my other jersey. He's an announcer for the Braves.
Yeah,
on the Braves
Glavine.
home games.
Yeah, Tom Glavine. I loved him. And Dave Justice. My favorite thing was Hammer came out with "You Can't Touch This," and I drafted in my fantasy baseball league Dave Justice that year, and it was just like he's like, "Hammer time, you can't touch this," and I was like, "Hammer time, Dave Justice."
My son, as I was taking him, and he was growing up with the Braves, he always loved the first baseman. So it was like Chipper Jones, and it was like
Chipper Jones was third base, but first base was Klesko. Mark Klesko.
Not Klesko. Oh,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's way back.
I remember Mark Klesko. He played first.
Klesko is way back. What's his name that went to the Dodgers?
Steve Garvey.
No. Terry Pendleton. Yeah.
That's still Terry Pendleton is third base. Don't talk about Pendleton.
No, he was a shortstop, but now he's the coach. He's a running coach or a hitting coach now.
A running coach. I didn't know they had those.
Who's the first baseman that went to the Dodgers a couple years ago? I mean, he was the all-star first baseman.
Oh, you're talking about Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman, yeah. My son loved Freddie Freeman.
I love Freddie Freeman on the Dodgers and the Braves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because you're
fantasy. I'm fantasy
baseball.
I purchase people every year, and this year it's Fernando Tatis and Machado.
Batiste.
But we'll see what happens. All right,
y'all.
Yeah, I got a little toasted tonight because I have no idea why. But I have to pull it together for the wife. And thank you, everybody on YouTube. We still have 14 people watching on YouTube. What do we got on Facebook? Where did the Facebook go? Are you there, Nash? Yep. Nash is there. You go. You're back.
You froze up for a second there.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna finish this off on YouTube first, and then we'll finish off at Facebook. All you gotta do is
thanks everybody. Enjoyed it. Cheers. Next time you see me will be Tuesday night, live from Waikiki Beach, Hawaii.
All right. I can't wait. All right. And make sure you purchase some Hawaiian bourbon.
Oh yeah, I'm going by there. I'm going by the distillery.
Do it before Tuesday. All right.
I will.
Good night on Facebook.
All right, Facebook.
Facebook, stop. Let me do YouTube. All right, everybody. Good night on YouTube. Thank you for watching.